Each and every one of us will play our part. Today, like my comrade said, is only the beginning. This fight is not just the fight of one day, or 1 year, or even the next 4 years. We need to be ready to fight until we win. Until there are no more wars, no more union busting, no more racist police killings or mass deportations to fight back against. Thank you all for being out here in the cold. I know our hands are cold, but if you're out here, it's because you're fire with a burning desire for justice and peace. Don't let that flame go out.
Thank you, Eli. Before I call up our next speaker, for all our speakers today, if you want to come up on this side of the microphone, there is a dangerous amount of ice right here at the top of this platform. And it would be very embarrassing to get all the way up here and then fall back down. So, this side, please. Next up, we have Carolina from the Alliance for Latin Migrant Advocacy, who will be connecting the struggle of imperialism to the local struggle for immigrant rights. Please give it up for Carolina.
Bonjour, buenas tardes, and good afternoon to everybody. Carolina Castoreno. I am Lipan Apache from the state of Texas. I'm also the descendant of indigenous people from Guanajuato, Michoacan, and Coahuila, Mexico. And the reason why I'm here today is because obviously fuck Donald Trump, first of all. Thank you. No, but what's really important is, aside from the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, recently, myself and some other grassroots organizers in the community have realized that we really need to start putting our money where our mouth is, our resources where our mouth is, and actually do the work to protect undocumented people in our community. But not just undocumented people, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So we recently formed the coalition. It is literally in its infancy. We have just developed a mission and are starting to invite people to the table, so please feel free to reach out to me. It's called ALMA, the Alliance for Latino Migrant Advocacy. And the reason for this is because the Latino community is the primary target. However, we do understand that other immigrants will be affected by this. What I want people to understand is that if you think that your citizenship or your residency or your temporary status will protect you, it absolutely will not. Tomorrow, they are already going to be initiating ICE raids in several cities. San Antonio, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, New York, Boston. We have no idea whether they will show up here in Indianapolis, but we need to be prepared to educate our community, know their rights. You do not have to open the door for ICE agents. You do not have to answer their questions. You can demand that they show you a warrant before entering and having a communication with you in your job. And we need to, those of us who have the privilege of being citizens, refuse to show your ID, because that is extra work for the ICE agents. But the reason why we need to do more on this is because of the specific types of policies that this administration is proposing. They are proposing tomorrow ending birthright citizenship. So any of you, especially you vendidos Latinos who decided to vote for Trump thinking that he was going to lower your grocery prices, your birthright in this country is no longer going to protect you. I say this as someone who my family has been personally affected in the past, and this is not that long ago. One of the ideas that they are bringing forth is that they want to utilize the Enemy Aliens Act of 1798. The last time this act was used was in the 40s to detain Japanese American citizens in internment camps. When was another time that they were utilizing this? In the 30s, the Mexican repatriation. They wanted to blame Mexican immigrants for the economy during the Great Depression, after the stock market crash. It was absolutely not the fault of immigrants, but the point of that was that citizens of the United States, almost half of the people deported were citizens of the United States, were affected. My great-grandfather, full-blood Lipan Apache, born in Medina County, Texas, was deported in the 1930s and had to cross back over to the United States to be with his family. This is something that can absolutely and most likely will happen again. If they are talking about ending birthright citizenship, if they are talking about revoking temporary protection, if they are talking about revoking residency, they are already declaring that DACA is going to be named illegal. People in our community, and whether they contribute to the economy or not, because we're not just labor, But they do contribute to the economy. They contribute to what makes Indianapolis great. We need to protect them, but you also need to stay vigilant for yourself. Citizenship is not going to protect you. They are talking about utilizing the military against radical leftists, and who is to say who they are going to deem a radical leftist? This is not to scare people, but this is literally a fascist oligarchy. The United States is already an illegal colonial occupation. No wonder they support Israel, and no wonder it's bipartisan support. So with that being said, I just again want to remind people this is not about scaring you, but it is reminding you to be aware, to know history, because the 1930s is less than 100 years ago, my people. That is not centuries ago. Any discussion about an enemy aliens act, just the rhetoric of that alone, deeming immigrants as enemies, when the people who are making these laws are the descendants of illegal immigrants themselves. So I just want everyone to please reach out, but most importantly, make sure that when you are doing any type of advocacy work for immigrants, that you are highlighting the voices of the people most impacted by these policies first and foremost.